When we come back, we'll take a look at the Swann Pro Series 8-channel HD 720p security system. Hey guys, welcome back. So let's talk about security cameras. So HD security system allows you to see things that you would never be able to see with a security camera that uses the codec 960H. And as time progresses, these HD security cameras come down in price, but the quality goes up. So a couple years from now, you'll probably be able to get a 1080p NVR system for what you would pay for a coaxial 720 HD system that you can get today. I've been installing and shopping for security systems for various people through a span of 5 years. So I've seen the many different prices for different security systems that are out there. Just a year ago, I had a family member going to Canada and they wanted a way to keep an eye on their house. They had a current security system that I have purchased and installed for them, but the Ethernet port on that DVR had gone bad, so you weren't able to log into the security system remotely and view the cameras. This security system was from Zmodo, and it was pretty expensive at the time. I bought the security system about 2 years ago and the purchase price was about $300. The quality was terrible, it was only 4 channels, and I had a really hard time connecting it to the internet. After the Ethernet port on that security system crashed, I went shopping for another security system. There was a budget in mind, so I had to keep it below $300. That's when I came across the Amcrest 960H 4-channel security system on Amazon for roughly about $260. I purchased it and installed it for this family member, and they've been using it since. Now with the Amcrest, it was $260, 960H quality, and only 4 channels. But it was very easy to connect to the internet. And even as today, the remote viewing works perfectly. So now let's bring it back to the security system, the Swann security system that I'm reviewing. I bought the security system off of Best Buy. And the reason why I don't have it in front of me is because I already installed it. So if you want to see an unboxing of the security system, do a quick YouTube search and you'll be able to find people doing an unboxing. But I get spam mail from Best Buy every now and then. So I saw this Swann Pro Series HD 720p 8-channel with 500 gigabytes of hard drive space. And I saw it for $230 on sale once I clicked on the email. So I thought it was an error. But nonetheless, I placed an order for it. When I went on my email, found the receipt, and then clicked on the link to the security system, Best Buy had put back the price at $449. I installed all the cameras, I installed the DVR box, and here are my thoughts. The camera is really impressive. The quality is amazing, and compared to the security system that I recently installed for different family members 6 months ago, this camera system just blows those out of the water. You can zoom in if you want. If you zoom in, the quality kind of degrades, obviously. But if anyone triggers the motion on those cameras, night or day, that camera is going to be able to record usable footage that you can use to identify that person. That's what's most amazing about this camera. The night quality is just as good as the day quality. Now this camera is HD over BNC, so it uses regular BNC cables. So if you're looking to upgrade your security system to HD and you currently have a security system that's wired through BNC, then yes, you can buy this and easily upgrade your system without having to rewire the whole thing. When I was in search of a security system, I was actually looking at NVR because I felt like NVR was the best way to get true HD quality security footage. But NVRs came at a hefty price, especially for a unit that was reputable. You could look to spend anywhere between $600 to $1,000 for a decent NVR unit that had 8 channels or more. I wasn't ready to put down that kind of cash on a security system. This is a BNC system and the 720p looks great, especially on a TV that's 32 inches or smaller. As great and impressive as the security system is, there is some downfalls that I found with the system. Let's start with the cameras. The cameras are really light and they're cheap. They're made out of plastic. I feel like if I had a hurricane, because we're here in Florida, those cameras would be blown away. Now, if you dealt with security systems, you would know that a decent security system from a reputable company, usually their cameras are made out of aluminum and they have this hefty weight to them. And when you mount them, you know they're not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, the Amcrest cameras were aluminum. My second complaint would have to be that not all cameras are created equally. And what I mean by this is not all the cameras were assembled correctly. So if you look at the lens of the cameras, you can see some of the cameras, the lens is either shifted to the right, shifted to the left, or shifted up or down. They're not dead center like they should be, because you would aim it where you think you're aiming it, and when you look at the footage, it's actually off a little bit because of those imperfection in the lens. But it's not a big deal. You just need a live feed and you can just adjust the camera to compensate for that shift in the lens. And the third and final problem that I have with this DVR unit is that it doesn't have any connections for a PTZ camera. Not a big deal, but if you intend, if you have a blind spot that can only be covered with a PTZ camera, you're gonna have to get another system, because this box, this DVR box, doesn't allow for a PTZ connection. There's many things you can do. If you can get this unit as cheap as I did, you can buy the unit and then just switch out the DVR box with a upgraded version that supports PTZ. Now, the positive is that, like I said, the quality is amazing. The cameras were pretty easy to set up. Allowing remote access was pretty easy to set up. The DVR box is lightweight and there's no fan. If you actually open it up, the motherboard is this big, literally. So that means that the DVR box actually runs cool. There's no need for a fan, so you don't have to worry about any loud fan noises or worry about putting this thing in a completely open space. You can easily put it in a data box if you have one in your closet, and it'll do fine. That's where I installed my DVR, in my data box in my closet. It comes with a 500 gigabyte hard drive. And features are rich with this unit. There's a lot of features that you get with this DVR unit, and I didn't expect those features to be included in a unit at that price, $230. So that was a huge plus for me. So now that we talked about all the pros and the cons, let me talk about the settings, and the settings that I chose for this unit, the settings that I thought were best for this unit. Out of the box, when you connect the unit and you turn it on, you'll notice that the motion sensing is set at 4. Now here's the problem with that, is like recording nothing. In order for something to trigger motion sensing at setting 4, they have to take up at least 50% of the screen space. It was completely useless. This means that, as you see here, my car is in my driveway. Now let's say a car drives by, that won't trigger the motion sensing. And you see the sidewalk here? Now if a person walks by, even though you will be able to identify that person, because these cameras, are able to do that, the motion sensing won't activate because the setting is on 4. For the security system on Swann's website, you will see that they claim that you can record up to 40 days with this unit. However, if you read the fine print, what it says is that you will have to use the lowest motion sensing setting in order to achieve this. Now, like I said, if out of the box they have it set at 4, then that means that's the recommended motion sensing setting that they want you to put it on in order to get 40 days. However, yes, you're going to get 40 days because you know what? It's not going to be recording. That's why you're going to be able to get 40 days of footage. The only way you'll get recording is if something takes up 50% of the camera's view. And that's not going to happen very often. So that setting is a complete waste. Don't expect to record 40 days of footage, because that's not possible. Not with a 500 gigabyte hard drive, and not with your setting on 4. Because if you have your setting on 4, then having a security system is useless. It's pointless. At that point, all you're doing is you're just, monitoring your security cameras. You're not able to record actual usable footage. If you look at the feed from my driveway, where you can see the sidewalk, motion setting 5 did not trigger motion recording when someone was walking on the sidewalk. I even ran from my front door to the mailbox and nothing was recorded. On 6, I ran back out to the mailbox and this time it recorded me. So this is the optimal setting that I found for this DVR unit. Another nice setting that I found is full screen mode. I call it follow me mode, but full screen mode is what they call it. But basically what happens is the camera that picks up the motion will automatically display in full screen mode on your monitor. This allows you to easily monitor what's going on. So let's say you have one facing the front door like I do right here. If someone comes up to the front door, then on the monitor in my kitchen will automatically go into full screen mode. So from the chair, I can see who exactly is at my front door. And what's cool about this is if that person leaves the front door and let's say walks to my car, then the 2 cameras that are capturing the driveway will go into full screen mode, depending on which one senses the most motion. I thought that's a really neat feature. One thing I noticed that some people, they have a dedicated monitor for their security system mounted somewhere, either in their study, something's at the door, or they hear a noise and they want to see what's going on outside. It's accessible to them. However, these screens are usually smaller than 32 inches, so you have to go pretty close to see what's going on. Now the problem with that is that the screen is usually, it's either displaying 4 channels at a time, or people who have more channels, such as 8, it's displaying all 8 at one time. So you have to go pretty close in order to, get a better idea of what's going on that particular camera. With this full screen mode, that's no longer an issue, because the camera that captures the motion automatically will go into full screen mode. So you can see it very clearly at a distance. Another setting that I found pretty useful, you can select the data rate for each individual mainstream or substream, and this allows you to adjust it accordingly to how much data you have from your service provider. So let's say you have AT&T and you're only paying for 2 gigs a month, then you can set the setting on substream to be low, the data rate to be low, so that way you're not eating up your data plan if you're viewing your cameras remotely. Quality will be bad, and it will be very hard to make out what's going on your property. If you don't have a data cap for your mobile provider, then you can tap into mainstream, and what mainstream does is it gives you full 720p quality on your mobile device, which is awesome. So you can easily switch between mainstream and substream within the app. Now I do apologize that I wasn't able to film my process of installing the security system. It's very hard to get a camera up in the attic, and I was in the attic most of my time, so you can imagine how hard it is to hold a camera and install the system. However, I was able to grab the camera and record different processes that I was doing not in the attics. Now, one thing you got to be careful of is where you place your DVR box. A lot of people place their DVR box in the open, mainly because they don't want to go through the hassle of correctly mounting it somewhere that's hidden. So they just put it out in the open with their monitor. This is not a good practice, because if someone does break into the house, even though the security footage will catch them, they can easily run off with your DVR, and you will be left with nothing to identify them with. So I highly recommend you hide your DVR box. That's exactly what I did. If you have a data box, that's a perfect place to hide it. You can put it in a closet, maybe on the top. If you have an attic, that's perfect. Take advantage of the opportunity to mount your DVR box wherever you can, because if you have an attic, you'll be able to easily wire those wires wherever you want them. If you have a 2-story home, it gets a little complicated, but still, I highly recommend that you hide your DVR box. And as you can see in the video, this is this is me preparing my data box for the DVR. Usually what they put in here are coaxial, and then a coaxial wire splitter, so you can split the coaxial signal into multiple rooms, so you can watch TV or whatnot. You can get your cable provider into your room. I did a full cleaning. I gutted out this entire data box, and I ran all my security camera wires through the attic into this data box, and then I mounted my my Swann DVR box in this unit. And because, like I said, the DVR runs cool, I don't have to worry about it overheating. When you're running the cameras through your attic, you want to make sure that you have access to where you're trying to mount the camera, because if you don't, you're going to end up putting a hole in a place where you won't be able to use anymore, because you won't be able to feed the wire through that hole. So then you're going to have to figure something out to cover that hole. So definitely make sure that you have access to where you're running the wire, just so you can avoid unnecessary holes in your house. For my installation, I mounted all my cameras onto the soffit, and the reason why I did that is because if any of the soffit get damaged, I can easily replace it. And yes, the soffit is not as secure as if you were to mount it on the, onto the side of your home or whatnot. All the security camera jobs that I've done, I've mounted it onto the soffit so I don't risk damaging the individual's home, and I've never had a problem. Oh, and one thing you can never have enough of is more BNC cables. Make sure you buy some more. So if you have an 8-channel system, make sure you get at least 4 BNC cables. That's what I did, and yes, I'm left with one extra cable, but hey, it's better to not need it and have it than to need it and not have it. And if you get extra BNC cables, make sure you get the BNC connector. This will allow you to connect two BNC cables together. Depending on where you buy your cable, they might supply it for you. If they don't, you can grab it from Lowe's. Now, one interesting thing I did was I set up a main monitor screen in the kitchen. It's a small 24-inch TV and that displays all the channels at once. I took it a step further. What I did was I attached an HDMI splitter to my DVR box and ran one wire to the TV in the kitchen, ran it through the walls so you don't see any wires, and then I ran another wire into my bedroom TV so I can also get the security system in my bedroom. And this has worked out great. And it really does give you a peace of mind because, you know, as you sleep, if you hear something, you look at the cameras and boom, you can identify what's going on. And then, you know, when you're done viewing the security system in your room, I just turn off the TV and, you know, the one in the kitchen will always be on so we can use that. So this turned out to be very useful. Now, if you're going to run the wires into the wall, it becomes, you know, a little bit more harder. But if you do a quick YouTube search on how to run wires into the wall, through the wall, if you have an you know, if you have a decent space attic, then you'll be a pro in no time. And that's pretty much all I have to say about this unit. Again, I'm amazed with it, and I would recommend anyone who's looking for a security camera to purchase it. I wouldn't recommend the $449 price tag. I would recommend, you know, keeping an eye on it for when it goes back down to $230, because at $230, this security system is a steal. And from my research, Swann has been in the security business for a while now, so they are a company that you can trust. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching this video, and you guys have a great day.